Psy Pod. Psy Pod. Psy Pod. Psy Pod. Psy Pod.
And we're back with the season finale and also the season premiere of Psy Pod. Because we've been gone for a short minute, for a bit, you could say. And this is the first time.
We've been gone for a Bhutanese Standard Time minute.
Yes, exactly. And this is the first time you're watching the podcast. This is a podcast about nothing, where we talk about random stuff with guests which we do not know we're going to bring until the last minute.
Yeah, it's ad hoc.
It's very ad hoc, just much like our government. Okay, and and
Ooh, shots fired.
okay, it's been firing since COVID. Okay, what was I going to say? Yeah. So if without any further ado, I think let Kinley. Actually, this is Return of Kinley. No, it's not.
What do you mean the Return of Kinley?
It's not the Return of Kinley.
No, the last episode I was there.
Yeah, you were there. Sorry, it's been a while. See, as you can tell. So Kinley, why don't you introduce our guest like you always do?
Well, he is my baby brother.
Yes.
He is a psychology major.
And also,
Not a counselor though. He's just a psychology major. Valedictorian, top of his class.
Wow.
Also 1/3 of the Dick Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And also recently released a song with Norlha and Choang called Autumn Falls. Check
in
that
winter,
out.
in
Yeah,
winter.
Autumn Falls in Winter. Check that out on Juno Music. Please give it up for my little troglodyte of a brother, Kindhey. We'll add the applause in later.
Yes, we will. And also, he's also, if you guys think you might have recognized him, he's also Exhibit B
In Getterby.
in Kindhey. Though, if you know, you know. You know.
Yeah. And he's also Dopinger.
Yeah, he's also Dopinger. The infamous
The
Dopinger.
infamous Dope.
I like how we looked it all back together. Okay, anyways.
Alright.
Hello, Kindhey. What would you like to talk about today?
I thought you guys were going to decide
No,
what we were going to
no.
talk about today.
No, we're just going to. This is ad hoc.
Yeah, we're winging it. We're winging it.
Yes.
What
Much
would you
like,
like to
again, our government.
This is,
Let's now go to the government, shall we?
yeah. Screw you, Big Ma.
He's. Anyway, go on.
Go on, we didn't even ask him a damn single thing. Okay. Kindhey, psychology. What is
Why did you actually take up psychology? I mean, I'm your elder brother, so it's kind of weird for me to ask you these questions.
Yeah, let me ask you that. Why did you take up psychology as a major to study in college?
And if you just give us short one-word answers, I will beat you.
God damn it. Alright. Psychology for me, it started off like I took science in class 11 and 12. So actually my goal of what I wanted to do with my life was I wanted to be a doctor. But then halfway through studying biology, I realized that I did not like in-depth biology. I like the surface level, so like things which I could
Is that why you haven't had sex?
easily.
Sorry.
God, we're not talking about that.
Okay, sorry. Go on. It's a joke.
It's okay. That's why the Psy Pod, it's uncut, uncensored, and raw.
We're
Like
not
a
gonna
Jew.
put that. We're not.
Now that I think we have to cut out this. Just kidding. Okay, continue.
Yeah.
Where were you?
So I didn't really like biology very in depth, so the next course of action was trying to find out what I could do with my life. And during that period I felt really lost. I didn't really know what I was gonna do with my life. So
Was that after high school?
No, during high school.
During high school.
Yeah,
Wow,
during
you're
high
having a
school.
midlife crisis during high school.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay.
But at that point I started talking to people, and then I realized that at that moment that I could grasp that when people weren't sad, they were able to come to me and they were able to talk with me, and I didn't I wasn't that type of person who said you should do this or you should do that. So when people found that I really listened to them, it's I think they really found that very nice. So it's and when I did that, it I think I felt really happy. Even though I still think okay. So yeah, I felt really happy doing that. So from there on, I was searching up what I could do, and then I found psychology. So yeah, that's how I pursued psychology.
Okay, so how long was this course in college? Was it 4 years, 3 years?
I mean, in India, it's some colleges offer it for 3 years, but there are like when I searched up psychology in like America and Australia, usually the undergrad degrees they do it for like four years. So like I think there are some differences, but like I think majority of it is pretty same.
Okay.
Yes,
So what is it, 4 or 3 years?
both of them.
Okay.
Yes to both.
Okay, yes to both. Okay,
Yes to
I had a joke for that, but it's gone. Okay, anyways, so
Oh no, you know what that joke is. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot. Jews are not uncut; they are cut. My mistake. Sorry, I cannot go without making corrections.
so are Brahmins. Okay, so what are your main takeaways from learning psychology in college?
Let's see.
Psychology.
In terms of what I mostly took away from psychology is like everything has to be in some sense balanced. Like when you look at let's say in terms of like everyone talks about a balanced diet, but like we either eat too less or we eat too much, and neither of them are really good to your body. So in that sense also like
Or you eat
in
too much
terms-
of a particular food group too much. Like we eat a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like in terms of like psychology, when you like either think like when you overthink too much, then there's an issue there. And then like when there's not much of thinking, then there's another issue there. You see. So it's like
We should think.
this is a very bad example. I'm very sorry.
So basically, when you overthink, you have somebody like me, and when you underthink, you have a politician.
We're going there. I think we're just using him as a
Wait, you guys
as
are
a
using
puppet.
me as scapegoat.
as a puppet.
No, but I know you've seen the podcast, so you know what this is.
You're basically a plot device.
Yes.
Okay, anyways, let's not delve into too much that. There'll be moments.
Okay, yeah. Now we're done with the government jokes.
No, we're not done, but it's there. It'll come. It'll keep coming.
Then,
It'll keep coming, but then subtly, very subtly.
I love my government. I love my government.
You love your government. What are you gonna say next year?
No promises.
No promises. I love you, but no promises. That's what Kindhey's ex-girlfriend said to him.
No, but then
You walked right into that one. Okay, you walked right into that one.
yeah, and I'm the blind one.
Okay, sorry. We're bashing too much on Kindhey.
Yeah.
It's all jokes. Kindhey never had a girlfriend.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
But
No, but we're not gonna-
we're not going to
Okay,
go in there.
good segue.
No, we're not.
Autumn Falls.
Yeah, Autumn Falls.
Autumn Falls. How did
Okay.
that song come about? And what made you, expand
What-
into your musical horizons? Was it because of your brother? Was it always an interest within you? Was it one day you were in Bayou listening to Joe J and thought, why not?
I think it's Joe G and not Joe J.
Jose is good.
But yeah.
So basically I remember telling Norlha one night, like it was like he was dropping everybody off and I was the last person he drops off usually, because I make him take me for a ride usually.
Okay.
So it's like one of those times he was driving and I was like, Norlha, you should add me to a song if you ever decide on making a new one. And then he's like, all right.
Were you drunk?
Relatively?
Relatively.
Yeah.
Okay.
Relatively.
You usually would not say this if you were sober. Go on.
So then one day he just like calls me up and then he's like, you wanna be a part of this song? And it's not actually Autumn Falls, but it's Summer Again, his song
Summer
before
Again. Yeah, Summer
before Autumn Falls. So then like I added a few minuscule parts in there, and then like I think it's a song for him. He a majority of the song is his. But like after that, like I started listening to free beats on YouTube.
You found
and
that
then,
beat?
Yeah, and then I found that beat, and I was like, instantly, I could like get a, what do you say, a chorus, a verse there.
Melody.
Yeah, a melody. And then like I was like the next day I go to Lapsum or L3, so I go to him and I'm like, I got this song, and then he's like, all right, let's listen to it, and then like that's how we basically began.
So did you have the lyrics or just had the melody?
So I had a little bit of the lyrics and the melody, and then majority of the lyrics, Norlha, Hapsum, they kind of helped me with it. So yeah, it's partly I owe it to them.
Okay.
So
So, do you plan on making more music, or was it just a one-off?
I have no idea.
But how did you feel expanding into that? Because I didn't know you as a, as a musical person.
You knew him as the boom mic operator.
Yeah, we knew him as a boom right operator and our AD.
Yeah.
So, what came over? Was it always in you, or you just wanted to try it?
I guess I just wanted to try something new. I guess.
I mean, I've always heard him singing.
I always sing. I usually sing, but like it's just like
Bathroom singing.
bathroom singing. But then like this time I was like, yeah, when I have the opportunities to,
And the friends with the tools, huh?
yeah. So
Why
I was
not?
like, why not take the opportunity?
Okay.
I really like the song though.
Yeah, it's got a very,
Y'all should check it out on Junor Music. Subscribe to Junor Music.
melancholic,
Yeah, bittersweet.
melancholic kind of feel. Like, don't frown that it's over. Smile that it happened.
And kill yourself because it's done.
Okay.
Okay, let's not go there.
Okay, so the music video also happened abruptly. No, you guys planned that, or it was just like one day you say, yeah, let's do it.
It was more like because like Norlha, he basically started like he has before this he has summer again, then he has spring break, so it's sort of like all summer
he's trying to Ed Sheeran you guys, huh?
it's a
Or John
seasonal
Keats,
it's a seasonal
So when's Winter Wonderland?
that you have to find out with
That'll come
Norlha.
out in spring.
Most probably. With how,
It's all like
It's all,
one
yeah.
season apart.
Remember?
yeah.
Summer came out in winter was actually.
No, spring again came out. Spring break came out in somewhere around early summer, I
don't
think
know.
so.
But then
It
the
was
summer thing.
It was 2 years ago. Summer.
Oh wow!
Spring break. Though.
Spring break was.
So now you've just given away his next project now.
No, everyone knows about
Yeah,
winter.
everybody knows.
You know? Oh shit.
Yeah, Norlha has posted it on his thing.
News to me now. So what's it gonna be called? Winter what?
Winter
chill.
again, I think. It's
Winter.
either winter again or winter end. I'm not entirely sure though.
Spring
I
break,
think it's
summer
winter
again, autumn falls,
No, winter end. Sorry,
Winter
summer
end.
again.
Ragnarok.
Oh. Ragnarok Winter. Remember that winter what?
Boy.
Ragnarok Winter.
Yeah, but then like, this kind of feels so weird because I'm his brother and I already know the answers to all this. How do I
that's
ask
good.
a question?
That's called what you call pre-interview.
Like I've been pre-interviewing this guy since he was born.
Okay.
No, but like it's like he used to intern at the psychiatric ward, and I've actually been there for therapy. Like I was there for therapy in April of 2022, and compared to what it was a few years ago, I gotta say it's much better. Like
The therapists.
yeah, I think I mean yeah, there's a little bit of an issue here and there, but at the same time, I think they're doing a really good job. What about you? Like you want to work? I don't really know this answer because he hasn't really told me. But like, are you planning to, do counseling in Bhutan once you're done with your masters?
Well, that's the hope, I guess. Because
I do not like how uptight you're being right now.
yeah, I feel very nervous. Sorry.
Okay.
Fuck you guys.
Hey, no swearing in front of your elders,
Bitch.
okay? Just that.
But yeah,
Well, it's okay. Whatever you say
Yeah.
within these four walls will remain in these four walls.
only Hazin will know.
Yes.
Go on.
Who's Hazen?
No, nothing. We will talk about this
She,
later.
she made a confession to us once,
Yes.
and we said that to her.
Oh,
Okay. And
Yeah,
so
you want to do counseling in Bhutan?
yeah. Like I hope I can do counseling here in Bhutan, but like I just currently I'm trying to by pursuing a master's of counseling, I wanna broaden my horizons and what I can try to do. Like I still feel like I don't know much as of yet with this degree in psychology, but like I wanna learn more. I wanna know more. I wanna be able to help my clients to the best of possibilities.
Okay.
The best of the all.
You should see the book he reads at home. What's it called? The Diagnostics.
The DSM,
Yeah, the DSM, the Diagnostics something manual.
the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Health.
Wow.
Interesting read. Like, it's got every mental condition in it.
Okay, can you diagnose me something? Because I'm pretty sure I have some mental issue with me, but I
You
do not
definitely
know.
have ADHD.
I definitely have ADHD. That is self-diagnosed. Okay.
Like, I don't even need to be a counselor or
Okay.
therapist to know that you've got
I've,
ADHD.
I've got ADHD for sure.
I'm
I
not
I
diagnosing
suspect
anything,
I
yeah.
suspect I have a slight form of dyslexia, but then I think it's just more of ADHD, which makes me read things very quickly.
I'm pretty
So-
sure I don't have dyslexia.
Okay, okay. I'm very.
No, but then he doesn't, like,
I don't
that's one
want-
good thing that I've noticed.
You don't want
with
to
him.
diagnose that.
Yeah.
Because he's not qualified.
Okay.
He's-
Yeah, but I'll listen to your educated opinion, right?
But my educated opinion can be wrong.
Yes, but at least I would appreciate your educated opinion rather than to some bartender or some guy out there who gives bad advice or advice which is not generally.
What sort of bars are you going to that
Qualified.
you're asking?
No,
advice from
I'm
bartenders?
just giving that trope that bartenders are like therapists. No.
What's got you worried, sir? You know what? You know what helps, sir? Anxiety. It's a nice shot of gin.
Okay, let's say. Speaking of anxiety and alcohol, no, alcohol is a good trope for stress. Even cigarettes is a good source of relieving for stress.
They've actually found that it's more stimulating.
Oh, but at least it blocks it out for temporarily. Okay.
I suppose.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
Okay.
know.
So what would you think is a good what do you call a placebo or a good alternative to relieving stress if you instead of using like abuse of alcohol and drugs or smoking? What would you recommend, sir? Like taking a deep breath or
You don't
going for a
have to.
stroll?
You don't have to go professional. Just.
Do you go professional, man? I'm
He's
just
so
asking
scared that he will say something and somebody online will be like,
Actually,
yes.
this one. We don't need to worry about that, okay? Don't need to worry about that. I'm just asking you as a friend to a friend, you know. Let's say I have some stress. Let's say I have some anxiety and I don't want to drink. I don't want to smoke.
And he doesn't come to
but
you
I'm
as a
getting-
professional.
But I'm getting the glitz now because I need something to cope with.
Prick.
Yeah. So what would you say?
I mean, journaling
Actual,
is
what would you
always
try?
journaling has always been something helpful.
Journaling.
Yeah, Kinley's tried journaling as
Yeah,
well.
I do journaling.
And how's that helps?
It helps because a lot of the time, I think when we are anxious or we are stressed out, we, especially in Asian communities, we have not just Asian communities, but in general. But I think it's more prevalent in Asian communities because of the fact that we don't have this habit of talking to people
speaking
about what
on
stresses
mind.
us out, right?
Okay.
So journaling seems to really, it really helps because you can vent. It's sort of like the book is your own, I wouldn't say therapist, but something that's listening to you. Just write, and you don't have to worry about like spellings and all that. It's just about getting out what you're feeling, and I found that that's really been helpful. Although in my journals I've threatened that a robot in the future will come and kill you if you read the journal.
Actually, yeah. To think of it before, when I used to have like little like kind of like frustration, I used to write notes on my phone, like whatever I was feeling, like one paragraph. Then I would feel better. You're right. Okay, I think actually that is a good coping mechanism. Is that the right word?
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism.
What else? Let's see if you're
I
not a
mean-
very expressive person or a creative person who could write something on a piece of paper who's still apprehensive over that. What would you else? What else? Alternatively, would
But
you
again,
recommend?
journaling doesn't necessarily mean you have to write. It just means
Notes,
you could, if you have a recorder on your phone, just
voice memo.
voice memoing yourself, recording what you're feeling,
Ah,
and maybe listening to it later when you're in a more. I don't know. I'm not. This is not an.
it's your opinion.
This is just my opinion. I just think that when people say journaling, they're always taking it because this, like mental health studies and all, it predates recorded technology as well. So I'm probably guessing that those days journaling was the thing, but nowadays I'm sure you can even just like voice memo yourself.
Okay, what else from your side, Kindhey?
Well, a lot of when I was at the hospital for 3 months, I remember a lot of the counselors used to recommend meditations for
Meditation. Okay.
stress, for anxiety,
Yes.
and they used to teach them how to do the breathing techniques as well. Like, I mean, there are people who it works for them. There are some who it doesn't really work for, but like you should give it a go.
Yeah, you should
Because,
try
like,
some multiple things.
yeah. At the end of the day, I particularly think that whatever works for you, but it has to be something which doesn't like bite you in your bum at the end of the in the long run.
Listen to him being so clean, not wanting to use
In
tattoos.
the long run.
After you just dropped the F-bomb
Yeah.
2 minutes ago. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, with like when you say smoking and all, I mean it is temporary relief in the short term, but in the long run you're going to face consequences.
But it does like it is a form.
Yeah, it does.
It is a form. I would.
My anxiety is cured, but I've got lung cancer.
No, but actually, that's a bad narrative because I've seen you. Yes, smoking does kill a lot of people in the end of the day, but in terms of like the percentage-wise of people who get lung cancer is not that much. It's just that people who chain smoke heavily get lung cancer, while a person who takes a cigarette every now and again, of course there is a chance, but I think it's not really doesn't cause one cigarette a day will cause you a death in the near future.
I mean, I occasionally smoke, even though I tell people I quit.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think even drinking once a week, I think is still okay.
I haven't drunk since his birthday.
You haven't drunk? I haven't drank manga.
Yeah.
Drink, drank, drunk.
Tell me which one is right. Both are right.
I haven't drunk.
Both can be used. I think I haven't
Why are
drank.
you
in the
asking?
I'm asking you. You're the neutral one. I said it's only drank. He's saying drink, drunk.
I'm the ego, you're the super ego, he's the... What's the word? No, how is it? Id, ego, super ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that.
That's very. It's the three
This is called
personality components of Sigmund Freud.
Oh, Freud.
Okay.
So
What's that?
So it would be your, let's say, natural instinct to do something, whereas your superego is something which has been socialized into you at a very young age.
This is all theoretical.
It's all theoretical. Does not mean that it exists. But it's just something that Freud came up with in his theories. And then like the ego is like something that balances the two of them. So like for example, if I can give you an example, like let's say you're walking down the street and you see a man and he's eating ice cream. So then your it would probably say, I want to eat that ice cream, let's go take it from that man. Then your super ego goes, no, you can't do that. That's very wrong. That's like, you're doing something wrong. And then your ego is like, okay, we're clearly
Your
hungry.
ego is balancing it out.
Yeah, we're clearly hungry, but we can't do that. Let's go buy it.
Isn't that like your
Right,
logic, your ego, your instinct,
If you
conscience?
think about it, like the entire, it's been personified if you think about it. Tom and Jerry, the devil and the angel.
Yeah.
The devil.
The devil saying like do this. The angel's like, no, don't do it because it's wrong.
Yeah.
And the middle, if you think
you.
about it, it's like your ego is you, your id is your more compulsive, impulsive sides, and your super ego, if I'm getting this correct, is just what sees socially wrong or correct and tells you to do according to that.
You should look it up if you want a more in-depth explanation of it. I
Okay.
guess.
The id.
But can you give me the TLDR though?
Yeah, the TLDR is basically that.
Okay. All right. More psychological facts. How are you with religion?
I'm very, I would say, what's
Are you like
term?
Acho? He's agnostic, but he denies he's an agnostic. That's what makes him an agnostic.
I don't have label. I don't like labels for it.
Okay, that's why. Okay, what is your?
I'm
What
more
is
like,
What is
I'm
your?
more like, if somebody tells me to do this in terms of a religious situation, I'm like, oh, I have no problem doing it.
Yeah,
But
what
I'm-
is your personal beliefs
about religion?
about God and your faith and your belief system?
Well, in my opinion, I believe that there's always been one God,
Okay.
and there has been a multiple representation of them, like with Buddha, with Jesus Christ, with Muhammad, right?
Muhammad is prophet
The
Allah,
Prophet
Yeah.
Allah.
but Jesus again is not a god. Also, Jesus also is a prophet.
But like when you look
Yeah.
at them, like they basically are teaching the same thing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
Might
all
wanna hide now,
about.
the Muslims, the extreme Islamites might want to kill you.
No, but like what I get the gist of what these religions are is that they're basically trying to tell people to be good human beings.
Yes. So what is? Let's not go into people. Let's go into you. What do you believe in?
So yeah, I believe that.
He's universalist.
Universal.
I don't know.
I think it's
So you also like? Actually, you don't like labels.
No, I just don't know the terms.
I think it's
Okay.
universal.
This either
I'm
an
not- I could be
atheist-
wrong. Check it.
Atheist and agnostic, or you can be either a Buddhist or a Christian or a Hindu or this or that. So what do you think you are more leaning towards?
Basically, theistic or non-theistic.
I have no idea what these terms.
You're not familiar with
Theist would be somebody who
Atheist-
believes in
atheist-
Oh,
Atheism
okay.
or-
Atheism is he doesn't believe in God.
yes,
completely.
Yeah.
yeah. Then there's people who do believe, and then there's agnostic who like we cannot know for sure whether there is or not.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
So an agnostic, you
I
would say.
guess.
More lean towards agnosticism.
I'm like-
Is it called
Is-
agnosticism?
It's
For
agnosticism.
me personally, it's more like if they're there, well and good. If they're not there, there's not much difference. I
Are you,
guess, for me?
Do you pray? Not like often, not in general, but do you pray? No, in general, sorry. Do you pray like sometimes?
I would say sometimes.
Yeah. So when you pray, who do you think of?
But again, no. But like, what do you mean by prayer? Because I sometimes think that the word like. So when you say prayer, people always seem to take it as this thing of
Reading Pechaya.
reading pecha or reciting pecha,
Mantra.
mantra, sutras, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the same with whatever. Like, I've always never seen that. For me, that's never been prayer. Like, Amma always used to tell me that prayer was never meant. It doesn't necessarily have to be to a god. It can just be a voicing out of expression that you feel, no? And it doesn't necessarily have like that's always what I've always believed as prayer.
Yeah. I remember Dad used to tell me like when you pray, you should usually pray for all the sentient beings in this world. That's like
very
usually
Buddhist.
when I pray, that's what I usually pray for.
What do you when you pray? How do you talk to you? Like when you pray, what do you say usually? Like if I could
I
get-
pray to Guru Mche.
Yeah, no,
I
like
pray.
but
So I pray, I say, okay, Guru Mche, let today be good, let no kin barse come to my life. Thank you. And then at the end of the day, thank you to the no kin barse came. Sleep. But it's very small. I'm not the practicing kind of type person. I'm not. But then I do prostrate every day a little bit just because my family is very religious and then they appreciate me. So it's also a showing of respect, also a little bit of practicing with faith, because I've had my own experience with faith, which I've mentioned on the podcast early episodes, shameless plug with number 4. So so ever since that, there's a little bit of supernatural connection with that, but I still don't believe in the that I can transform into 1,000 flowers and then I throw fire upon all wrathful fury. I don't believe in all that, okay? But I do believe like there are certain things.
who transforms into 1,000 flowers?
I'm just giving you an example, okay? So
That seems lovely actually. Like what can you do? I can transform
No, like
into
how
1,000 flowers.
like how Buddha gives stories, like he came out of an armpit and
Yeah.
every time he walked a lotus flower came, and that's how the 8 noble path came and all. No, it's a very storytelling, like you tell a child like this. So I think these are methods of telling teachings and stories, about some things which will give you values in life to become a good person, which you just mentioned that time. So like there are certain things which I correlate, like sometimes like when I feel like good thoughts equals good things which happen. I believe a lot in karma, juju. I believe in bad juju. As I also believe in karam. Like a lot of Buddhists believe in karam. So I believe like if you do stupid shit which pisses a lot of people off, they'll talk bad about you, they'll curse you, and that energy will translate into something bad. Will happen.
yeah, but then if you do good things, also people still.
Yeah, but that's karam also.
Yeah, so
That's
I'm like
karma.
either way you're going to lose.
So but in my belief system, I feel like if you do good upon others and people think good upon you, that will translate into good things for yourself. That's how I believe in it.
Explain with examples.
Huh? Me?
I'm asking you. No, but like Kadil Apnada. When I had this conversation with somebody who I shall not name,
Okay.
and I remember we were talking about this idea of religion, and even though I'm not religious, I'm not somebody who shuns it, no? I mean, I only shun it if it's extreme. Like, I don't believe in extreme forms of... I don't believe in doing crazy things in the name of religion, like animal sacrifices and all that sort of stuff. I don't believe it, but I do understand why somebody would do it. And we were talking, and then they asked me, like, if you're somebody who doesn't believe, why do you, like when somebody, like Rimro this, why do you go and think, no?
Prostrate.
Because I was saying my religion is not necessarily just religion. It's also
Cultural.
a cultural and it is a traditional thing. And these are certain aspects of my culture and tradition that I want to think. And I was having the same conversation with someone else who is much like myself, a non-believer. And then I like that they said, I don't believe it, but I accept it.
That's kind of
Like
hard to understand.
no, like what it means is like you don't have to believe in the all-powerful and all thing, but at the same time you do believe in your family's values, and you accept your family believes in this, and for the sake of your family and for the sake of being a part of that unit or that community, you accept it, even though you don't have to believe it.
What do you believe? Believe in Bhutan.
I haven't really thought that much.
Told you,
about it, I guess.
subtly it'll come, see.
You were saying?
Yeah, I haven't gone to that extent of thinking about it, but yeah, for me it's relatively simple with the religion.
Have you ever been in a very desperate and dire scenario?
Where I turn to religion?
No,
Or-
usually well, the
So
statistics
just in general.
statistics say that once we're at our lowest,
Uh-huh.
we tend to pray. That's what they say. So statistically, like in general humans, because we don't know what to turn to. There's no solution, so we just pray like, oh my God, please, there's a God out there. Let everything be good. Has
Not
there ever been
necessarily.
scenario
I
like
mean,
that?
like, even though there have been certain situations in my life where I felt like that, but I've never really turned to religion in that way, I guess. It's more been like, I'll figure this out when I cross that bridge, or
It's a problem. Tomorrow's problems are for tomorrow.
It's like more like, it's more like this idea of like, what do you say now? It's more like this idea of like, it's not going to be the end of the world with this problem. You're going to move on with it, or you'll move past it eventually.
That's a lot of thing there. That's what impermanence, thinking is. We think about like, don't need to be mad now because it is temporary. It will go away. And also, when you're happy, be happy now, but know that will also go away. That's impermanence.
That's another thing that they used to tell us about
In psychology.
anxiety. Like when I was counselor at hospital, they used to like also
Interning.
they used to also tell the patients like, when you experience that anxiety at that moment, you should like, think that like, at that moment you're experiencing these stuffs, but eventually they will go away as well.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like it's helping them cope.
Yeah.
Another way.
What I feel like personally for me is like I've also gone through moments of anxiety, but I cannot speak for everyone. Maybe people have worse bouts. But then what I always feel
but
is
like, sorry if I could cut in. Like,
yeah, sorry.
everyone's anxiety is subjective.
Yeah,
Like,
subjective.
I think one of the worst things you could do to somebody who's going through anxiety
You tell them your solution.
is tell them, why are you anxious? There are other people who are going through tougher things.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. That's one of the worst things you could tell somebody, because everything is subjective, right? Like your feelings, the anxiety, the stresses you're going through. Yeah, sure, maybe they're not, but then to you they are. And I think that downplaying is what causes a lot of follow-up mental condition issues later on. Sorry, but you were saying.
So basically, what I think is like, this is also because I do a little bit of research with religion and also with psychology. A little bit. I dabble. So my opinion is very uneducated. It's just very surface level. So what I feel is like, humans, when we think about a scenario which is like not up to our hands, let's say we do something but it's up in the air, someone else's hands, okay? So our ego wants it to happen, that's our expectation. And we put our desired outcome in certain area, but we do not account for much of the failure bit. We don't prepare ourselves. Like if that doesn't happen, then what will we do? We only think about the extreme, like best outcome, and we don't prepare ourselves for the extreme worst outcome. So when that happens, we are worried, because we want that outcome to happen, and that causes us to stress. That causes us to be anxious. So how I try to cope with it is I always try to, like, if something's going to happen, I try to prepare for it. I say like I'll give my best attempt. And after that, whether I give my best attempt, if I feel it's shitty or not, it's up in the air, okay? Because I'll hope for the best outcome, but I'll also at the same time expect like the worst. So if this doesn't happen, fuck it, I'm fine.
I'll
Fuck it.
accept whatever happens.
I'll accept it. And when I go to like pray in the Chesham or in the Hagang for let's say exam or outcome example, I pray like hopefully this is the outcome which I desired outcome will happen. And if it happens, I'll use this opportunity not only help myself but help others. So that's how I prepare for it. That's why it helps me. So if anyone's out there with anxious, this is just my solution, okay? So but it helps. I think that helps. You just expect the worst thing to happen and accept it. So if it happens, you're good. And if it doesn't happen, great. The desired thing has achieved.
Little bit of Amor Fati there.
Amor Fati? Okay, please, I want to understand more of that. What is Amor Fati?
Love of fate.
Love of fate.
Stoicism.
So yeah, you
Explain.
should explain.
You know this
Good
more.
time to dabble in. Otherwise, these people will say we're just yapping up and we're not letting you speak.
I don't know much about Amor Fati, but like Stoicism is basically this philosophy that I don't exactly know who came up with it, but like
There's a book by Marcus Aurelius called Meditations that deals a lot into Stoicism.
So like a lot of what we understand of Stoicism, I think it comes from that book itself.
So what I'm talking about is called Stoicism.
Stoicism.
Stoic, like stoic.
Yeah, stoic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I'll say if I could give a brief explanation, it's more like this understanding that you cannot control your environment. So and the only thing that you can control is sort of your mind and your thoughts, right?
Yes.
So like even if like whatever situation happens around your environment, if it's better, you shouldn't really try to control them because they're out of your grasp. But like it's more like you try to control how you deal with that situation or that environment. So yeah, it's a beautiful book, I would say.
Okay, but I think also for why I also feel like a little bit calmer than other people, because people usually my family says I don't have much stress. It's not like that's the case because every human, we're human, we have stress over things. It's also because I'm a little nihilistic, because I'm like at the end of the day we're all gonna die. The world is meaningless, so let it be.
There's one way I was looking at that. It's like one way we could look at it. It's like, oh no, we're all gonna die. But another way is like, oh well, we're gonna die at the end of the day. So whatever you do really doesn't, you shouldn't really give so much what do you say
Like
I really
don't
care
sweat
about it.
the small things, basically.
Yeah, that.
But then again, we also have like contradicting beliefs, like it's the little things in life
No,
which
I
give
think-
you pleasure,
What I think
like drinking thumbs up on a cold Tuesday
you're
night.
giving them
I don't care. This is my favorite drink. I don't mind giving them.
where'd you get thumbs up from?
Huh? You can get it from Keldon, right next to Mutang. Oh, by the way, this is a good time to mention the sponsor of this video, which I will ask for sponsorship now because I told them last time I'll sponsor this. Naughty Pigs and Levels, which is now located in multi-level parking at Naughty Pigs, right next to Malay Jewelry, next to
Where Old Swiss Bakery used to be.
yeah, they
Above Hotel Peddling.
please go there. It's my two friends' establishment, and they have nice snacks and cocktails. And Levels is a great place to have a night out with your family and friends. Sorry, not your family, like your dad and mom, but your friends.
Hey, man, come on. Some dad and
Yeah,
mom-
some dad and moms are cool. So yeah, why don't you go and check it out?
I mean, my mom and dad don't do that, but doesn't mean they're not cool.
Okay, and then speaking of levels, what is levels to life?
No, but then again, you were saying
Segue.
what was that thing you were saying that
Nihilism?
no, when I said don't sweat the small things, you said the contradicting belief that
Yeah.
cherish the little things as well. I think again context matters.
Hmm.
Like cherish the little things in the sense like these small moments, because contextually, if it's a good thing for you, then yeah, cherish these things, right? Like moments you get with your family,
friends.
or friends, or just sometimes like having absolute solitude to be with yourself, which you don't get these days a lot of. But at the same time, don't sweat the small things. Would probably be like, oh, there are horrible things happening. Don't contextually don't worry about things that you can't control or things that you can't really have no say in.
So just focus on the good things and ignore the shitty things in life.
I wouldn't say ignore. Again, ignore would not be the word.
It's more like accept the
Accept the bullshit.
yeah.
Accept the bullshit and go along with the good, and then focus on the good shit.
Again, although I wouldn't say you would accept bullshit. I feel like it's more like for me, it's always been that see what you can do to improve that situation. However, once you have exhausted everything, then it's fine. It's like when we're filming, if something goes wrong, you don't just say, "Oh shit, it's gone wrong now. We can't do anything about it." You don't cancel the shoot until you exhausted every contingency, right? Like I think that's the same thing with life too. Like, okay, sure, your thing to this place got, like, let's say your visa to Australia got denied. Not the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Guess what?
figure
You
out
can
something
else.
figure out
again.
something else. Try something else.
Yeah.
Then only like be like, oh shit, okay. No.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. So yeah, basically just management of your emotions and your thought process, remember,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
people have difficulty in trying to control them. No.
I think it's like one of the worst things, one of the worst habits I've seen in Bhutan, especially regarding mental health, is one, as we were talking, the idea that your suffering is invalid because somebody else is suffering more than you. Again, suffering is subjective. We do not know how, just because someone is really earns more money than us, we cannot say that their suffering is any less than our own. They probably have shit that they have to deal with as well. But at the same time, that's one thing I've noticed with Buddha. Another thing is a very strange form of what's the word? Ignoring a person's mental health because they think that it is karmic.
Condition.
Yeah, like, it's man.
Oh.
I'm so sorry you've got, you're going through depression. Maybe in your past life you did something and this is your atonement. But then again, like, I'm like, you're sort of like downplaying what somebody is going through. Even if it is karmic or non-karmic, I don't know. But I think just to say that and to sideline that is like one of the more scary things that a lot of Bhutanese people do.
Ah.
I mean, I've had it said to me so many times, when I was growing up with my eye condition. I had family members and aunts and uncles who were like, oh, your eye problem, it's what to do, it's sad, you've changed my leg. And it's like, how, like, I hold,
kind of downplays your situation.
yeah, and I don't hold it against them. Again, it's the way they were raised, and it's this generational gap, and not just gap, but it's also this generational passing down of these values, right? But I think it's kind of scary now with Bhutan because mental health has gotten really bad for a lot of young people, and most of the time, one of the biggest things you hear them saying is that no one seems to listen to what they're going through, or that people are downplaying it.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm guilty of that saying but then I usually say that just say like, what can you do about it? Going back to that point, like, just I accept it.
No, but I think there are so many things you can do. One thing is just listening to somebody when they're
Yeah, I've recently been like learning that sometimes when someone comes in to console, you don't really try to justify with logic, but try to listen it out to their emotions, because that's what men usually tend to do. What they advise them.
Kindhey has a
Usually,
Kindhey.
no, I was like,
Not that
thinking
Kindhey does that. What I'm saying is
No, but
Kindhey and I
I was
had a
like-
talk about this.
I had to talk about this also.
because like I was talking to Kinley and I was like saying, usually with men, when it comes to like people asking them about like when people seek solace from men, it's usually like for them usually for a lot of men it's like, what can they do to help this person? So this usually
We see
like
it as a problem to be
problem.
tackled.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And whereas when you look at women, it's more like, oh, you're going through this, let me listen to you, let me console you, let me hug you, and like there are those like for some people that's like, for some people I wouldn't say like for all of them that's what you should do. Like maybe for some people they like the advice, they want the advice, right? Because they don't really know what they want to do.
I think a lot of the time
But
when
like-
men go to other men with
Yeah,
their
it's-
issues, we want advice,
Advice.
like it is with advice.
But like usually with women, it's
Again,
like,
that's most. I'm not saying all.
it's like with a majority of women, I feel like it's like they they listen to their friends and then they are able to console them. So in that way, I find like they're like a little bit better.
That's
And
what I've also sort of thought about that, but I always try to tackle my problems logically rather than emotionally, because emotions are a very unreliable thing you can hold on. When you're angry and you make a decision, when you're happy you make a decision, it is not the best decision.
Knee-jerk reactions.
So you should always try to look at it in a logical space, not let your emotions affect it.
You should like when you have these high moments of emotions, whether it's like
happiness,
happiness or anger or sadness. Usually those moments aren't really the best time you should take action.
Yes.
Take action.
But like going back to the point, like when there's someone comes in for, to console and want to feel better, I think it's better to relate them with them emotionally, to listen to them out, to let them feel better at the moment. But then after that, I think then you can give the real advice. Then you should do it like that rather than listen to them. Because I think if you just keep giving out the frustrations and just listening to them out, that doesn't really solve the problem in long term necessarily. At least that's what I think. I think you rather give them a concrete, like, this is the problem, this is what you should do, and I think this will help, rather than, okay, I know how you're feeling, it sucks, I'm here for you, how do you feel? I think both works, but if I had to lean towards one, I would still lean towards a more logical, long-term based solution. But that's just me.
But like, for some people, they don't really want advice.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. And I get it. I get that now. Before I was to be like, no, fuck that, fuck your emotions. But now I'm learning to be more sensitive towards other people's feelings, even though I am very insensitive a person.
No, it's for me, especially like when I was going through in 2019, I was going through horrible anxiety.
Okay.
And one of the biggest helps I had was him, because I was in Thimphu by myself and my grandmother had died and Tenzin had just left, and I think at that point, having to deal with my grandmother dying
And your wife leaving.
and my wife leaving, I had this crippling sense of separation,
Anxiety.
which sort of devolved into separation, not just in the physical form but like death. And I remember, and it got to the point where I couldn't sleep. And it's amazing how much your mind affects your body.
Yeah.
Because my stomach, I couldn't eat. Like, I was getting gastritis. I was feeling very gassed up. I was breaking out. Like, I was scratching behind my head. And actually, I have scars on the right side of my head because of how vigorously I was scratching. Because of the thing.
That seems not.
Yeah, it's not healthy. And one of the biggest solaces I had was him, because like I was talking to him and I was telling him like, this is what I'm going through, and yeah, he's not supposed to, he wasn't treating me, he was just listening
to
and I think for me that like was something that I really desperately needed at that point. And sometimes it's amazing, you just the idea of just having someone listen to you. Of course, I don't think it can just be any random person listen to you. It has to be someone who you trust and who you draw comfort and solace from. A lot of the time, for a lot of people, it's usually friends. I mean, most people are not lucky enough to have a stable family system. You may not necessarily have parents who listen. Thankfully, we do. But there are some people who don't. And I've said this many times before also, is that you should always create a support system around you that comprises of people who you care for and who care for you, who you support and who support you. And I think a lot of the time that really comes in handy.
Yeah. I recently watched one Instagram video or TikTok or something, like when people are like coming in for like solace, you should ask them like, what's on your mind? I think that's the best question you can ask them. And then if they want to say something, they can say. If they don't want to say, then they don't have to say. But that's usually the best question I read. So I think that kind of makes sense.
But Kindhey, for you, like, what's been something that you've noticed with mental health in Bhutan? As you, somebody who studies psychology and
yes.
Well, I think it's still developing here, and
I don't mean psychology in that way. I mean like
No.
in terms of how mental health is treated here.
Oh, okay. Mental health is treated. Yeah. I mean, like now when after I visited the hospital, I feel like there are people who are there to support you, to help you through this. But there are certain, like, obviously the elder generation, because of the way they grew up and the different mindsets that they might have. Fortunately, mom and dad had pretty different mindset compared to the usual mindsets that
People of their generation.
Yeah.
The stereotypical one.
So yeah, I would say like it's still relatively new here, the idea of mental health, but like we're getting, I believe that we're getting, like, there's more awareness on it, and people are trying to open up about their mental health.
Yeah.
They're coming forward, they're
Yeah.
stepping up, and like I mean, it's very scary to be vulnerable in those moments,
Yes.
but like, it's better for you to step out and say, hey, I have this problem,
I need help.
I need help, than to just like, bottle everything up.
Yes.
And then one day something happens and you just like,
Trigger,
you get triggered and something happens, and that's, yeah.
Another thing that we've learned is that people who are going through mental health issues can't be helped if they don't want the help. So
Yeah,
one
but that's
of
always
the
like
worst
anything.
things that
Denial.
no, not just denial, but let's say like we get it. Like as a family member, you have somebody who's going through depression, right?
Yeah.
You can't force them to go see a therapist
Unless they want to.
unless they want to, because it has to be something
And
that.
that's very frustrating. Also.
Yeah, exactly. And I get it. Like it can be very frustrating because you're doing it out of this care for them, right? But at the same time, I think most therapists or like professional psychologists would tell you is they can't help someone if someone doesn't want to be helped.
That's an old saying.
But like usually when these types of clients come into the, what do you say now?
Clinic.
Clinic. Usually of course there is some level of tension between the therapist and the client, but then it's usually the job of the therapist to try to motivate them to come out, to accept that they have these kinds of problems and they need help. Because like there are situations where like for example, when you look at the movie of Good Will Hunting, Will is being placed into counseling and he doesn't really want to go, but because the state enforces that he has to go, so it's like at that moment, like how do you deal with these kinds of clients is another issue, I guess. Your phone is ringing.
That's it.
When I was doing therapy in April, like I said, they're doing a good job. One of the funnier things that happened was I'm sitting there, my counselor is there, and her apprentice. Is it apprentice?
Yeah. you can say
Understood
apprentice.
this?
The
Ah,
resident, whoever
Okay.
thing is sitting there.
So I thought it was just one-on-one.
No,
But
there has to be
they-
somebody who observes and
Yeah,
like they
but-
learn how to.
But like if you don't want them to be there,
Do you sign some non-disclosure?
It's
understood.
understood. This is like
confidential,
patient-doctor confidentiality.
How about if you say something which is what's the word now? My vocabulary.
Criminal, like what?
yeah.
Like
So criminal
incriminating. I don't know what the rules are for that in this country.
Okay. I feel sad. Why I killed somebody?
Oh.
It's pretty bad.
No, but like so he's sitting there, right? I'm with the counselor. He's got his mask on. He's listening, and I was telling the counselor, I was like, so yeah, I've been going through this. I swear, I don't think he meant it. And sometimes we just do things without realizing it. He went, and I looked at him and I was like, am I boring you?
You said that?
Yes, as a joke. I was like, am I boring you? He goes, no, it just came out accidentally. I was like, it's fine. I get it, because sometimes, when you're just sitting and your whole job is just to like listen to two people talk, which probably what most do.
Yeah. Jamming and Norlha probably. And neither go to each other about depression.
Yeah, but that was really funny. Although one of the, and I'm going to say this I say this with absolute respect for the psychiatric ward, y'all need to create a more comfortable environment. The ward is dark, it's like, colors are like muted colors. I mean, I get it, they repurposed the old maternity ward, Heby, above the old emergency. But then I was like, it does not feel like it's a good place to sit and talk. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be some level of
Understand.
physical comfort, right? Like especially when you're sitting on a chair which is like a straight back, your back hurts. Like you want to be able to like lean back. You want to be able to, I don't know, lean and loaf. I think sometimes. I think that really helps also.
Yeah, I think this is like the attentive to detail. We have to pay attention to the client because they're out there being vulnerable. They need to be comfortable in order to say something. It's not just comfortable.
And it's not comfortable when you're sitting on, especially office chairs. There is the psychological thing of when you see certain types of chairs, your body also.
Yeah.
Like look at this. Like with this, this is an office chair, right?
Yeah.
But the reclining effect means that I can rest.
Relax.
But when you see a straight back chair, a lot of the time you're thinking, okay, no leaning, straight back, be formal. I feel like I think a lot of the time, it's not their fault, and I think they're doing a really good job. And I jokingly told her that I would really like to drag my own divan, so that I could lie down and be like, it all started.
It all started when I was 9 years old.
She took it seriously. She was like, really? I was like, no, I'm joking.
So it's more like a sit-down interview style, rather than
Yeah, it's a sit-down
Why
interview.
is it like in movies you always see like them lying on the chair and then pouring
That's
their
more
heart out?
of
Freudian.
Freudian way of doing it. It's
Oh,
called
it's a
the
method.
psychodynamic way of doing it.
Why does it make the client
It's usually so
patient more
one is relaxed. One is another reason why is because like when they're lying down, they sort of look. They don't really see the counselor. So in
So
a
it's
way, it's like what basically psychotherapy comprises of is this idea of free association. So it's where the client basically talks about whatever he or she wants to talk about. So at that moment, like when he's like blabbering about, like you don't really want to disturb them by saying yes, no, whatever it is.
Oh, I
right?
think-
So
yeah.
it's like in a way it's for them to like be in their own world and to reflect, and you're just there listening to them. So
I think that I see that now, because I know it. I felt uncomfortable each time, like as I was talking, that they would
write notes?
right. Like of course I can't see facial details, but I can see movement, right?
You can tell.
So like when
make
you
out
see them, like when you say something that's very like
personal
and you see them writing it down, then you feel uncomfortable, right? Like it's like, oh no, they've taken note
of
of something that is very personal to me. So I get it now. Like if you have to look away from them,
Then
it becomes more
you
comfortable.
don't have to see them, like in the back of the mind throughout the session you're making notes, but you're not actually seeing them at that moment.
Yeah.
Make notes about that certain thing you just said. I
Yeah.
get it. It makes sense. I think we've been an hour now. I think this is a good time to wrap it up because I'm freezing my ass off. I don't know about you guys, man. I'm really cold.
I stopped feeling my balls a while ago.
So
Can you even feel your balls?
I hope everyone's keeping warm this winter because it's fucking cold. Every morning is a struggle. So Kinley, any parting words? Anything you want to plug in the end? Anything you hope to see in the field of psychology or psychotherapy in Bhutan before you bid adieu to this pod?
Nah, I just hope that everything gets better and more people come out from from whatever issues they may be facing. So, yeah, more strength to you.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
share this pod if it was helpful for you to any friend dealing with
I meant that
mental health.
Dick boys.
Dick boys.
This is the logo.
This is the Dick boys.
I did not mean the other thing. I'm sorry. Now you thought
now
about it. I'm sorry.
Okay, like I said, please share this to any friend or any person you might know who might help. It helped you, this pod, because actually I kind of opened my eyes on a few things which I did not think about in regards to mental
I've
health.
actually found some people who say they like listening to our pod just as a way to like
Yeah,
distract themselves from.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe listening to the pod is one way that
Of
you
therapy, yeah.
you de-stress.
Yeah, that's what I used to do every time when I was not our own podcast, but like other podcasts when I was like doing dishes or laundry or something. This is very good to in the background.
What?
What?
Why did you tap me like
No,
that?
like I just wanted to say like this is like whatever I've said.
He is
till
not
now,
a professional.
no.
I think you
And
need to
then-
be more assertive in there. I think you're really backpedaling on things.
No,
It's
no,
like
no.
saying like,
It's like-
you know what? You should do this, but I don't know.
Yeah, sort of. But like yeah, this is generally some of my own opinions, and majority of them are theories and ideas from the textbooks that I've read.
Yeah.
But like what I say might not necessarily be always true. So just want to let you know that these are my opinion. These
Okay.
aren't facts.
And now we're going to end this spot by having a performance by the Dig
boys.
When is
plug. Norlha said to plug your thing there, stuff.
Like the song, man.
Plug the songs and plug the other stuff also.
Check out Autovals in Junior Music.
and also subscribe to Junor Studios. We're trying to
Yeah.
get to 5,000 subscribers, and this is the season finale for this Psy Pod, but we will be back eventually.
We're done. We quit, man.
Why are they trying to stay relevant, man?
It's difficult to do this on a
Sorry,
regular
man.
basis.
Unlike you, we haven't made it.
Oh yeah, check out
check
Made
Made
It.
Don't. It's not good.
On Bail 301.
Check out Dig Boys on Bail. That's more entertaining.
Yeah.
And there'll be new
the
people.
dance move to Bejinda.
Come on.
Yeah, change cigar dance move. They make Wait,
We should have had Norlha here the whole time. Look at how he opens up.
Wait, Chemimuna.
Haha.
Chemimuna.
That's it.
Same to the Chami. Okay. What else? Yeah. See you all in the next one. Hey, any update on the backflip, Kinley?
Still doing it, still learning. I busted my ankle the last time I did it, and I
Let's
had
add
to
a screen
take.
grab of that. No, why not?
Yeah, the way I fell was not. It was not fun. I twisted my ankle really badly, but. Also, Parkour is not here currently. He's in the south for some work, so I haven't. My sensei is not here.
Well, what was the target? 50?
50.
50
So
more. So
50.
you still have since the season finale,
This
plenty
is
of time.
This is 14.
So 14 more
I mean,
episodes.
it's not like it's a season finale. It's more like it's difficult to do this on a weekly basis because everyone has their own work.
Yeah.
Junior has their own thing going on. Sai is working on his own stuff. I'm doing my own thing, so it's not easy to always come here on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and then luckily we did this also after a month.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
Yeah.
you know what? At this point, we're not fucking apologizing. We're gonna put up episodes whenever we all can get the time to do it.
Yeah, and hopefully you all continue to listen, and thank you if you have continued to listen. And until then, sayonara and Kinley, we're all gonna die someday apparently.